Hey, I just want to say that the opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone and do not reflect the entirety of the Geek Room channel, except for maybe Billy. Hope you enjoy.
That's me, that's right, that's me, that's right, that's me, damn right.
Hey guys, the Honorable Reverend Anna Duke here, doing this again. Like I said, I'm gonna keep doing this until I inevitably get bored of it and abandon it completely, because that's just how my life goes. Let's go! So what I'm gonna be doing today is I'm gonna be talking some smack. I'm gonna go through, some of the main people that we talk about on this channel, some of the repeat offenders, some long-term cows, as they say. And, we're gonna talk some smack! I wouldn't call this a roast, or a takedown, or anything like that. I'm just gonna be mean within reason. Like, I still have to keep in mind, like, YouTube, TOS, to talk some smack. First up top, we're gonna start with, my least favorite person that we usually, well, one of my least favorite, I wouldn't say top, is, Lord of Patriarchy. If the name doesn't tell you everything you need to know, his previous username of WarCorpse666 will tell you. He is some kind of crunchy fucking edgelord who formed his personality sometime around 2014 YouTube politics, and got all of his information from faceless YouTube avatars with 2 points of animation, and didn't grow from there. He's just every kind of bigot that you can possibly think of, and is also loudly wrong about most things all of the time. In addition to that, the ugliness of his spirit and personality has been manifesting on the outside, and as a result, he's kind of become more blobfish-like over the years. Pathetic, sad little individual with a pathetic, sad little life who thinks that if he drinks and he decides to be angry on the internet, that is some sort of replacement for therapy, I guess. I'm guessing he had a bad relationship with his mother and was taught how to be a bigot by his parents and never left his little backwards Midwest town and, you know, bothered to learn anything about anyone else. Like I said, he's just an ugly individual inside and out. And, I wish nothing but the worst. Moving on. Next we have Rev. We're gonna cover Rev and Shani separately. Rev by himself, before Shani, was fucking crazy drunk. Insane. Fucking on the Alex Jones show, posting insane fucking shit, just a real nutter, and then gets with Shani, has the whole, probably quitting alcohol cold turkey sort of situation, which is very dangerous to do when you have, like, an actual habit. Like, it can be detrimental to your health to just quit cold turkey at a certain point when it comes to alcohol. And it has not gotten better from there. Not only is he a cuck that allows himself to get completely steamrolled and railroaded over by an abusive fucking land whale, he also himself is an abusive, bigoted piece of shit. Most of the things that we have covered on this channel in regards to Rev have to do with his relationship with Shani and the kids no longer being in the home now because of what Rev did to those kids, and Shani just allowed to happen. You know, on top of yelling at who he called his kids in a recent video, even though they are not his kids, nor did he ever really treat them like they were his kids. He's just an overall kind of shit person. Just kind of an overall shit person with these weird delusions of grandeur, as if he's anybody important. And, you know, as far as him and Shani go, they deserve each other. And then, right off of that is going to be, Shani, who, instead of going to therapy or going to an actual doctor, decides to pathologize herself in an attempt to garner sympathy and money from people on the internet. We call that scam artist or e-bagger, depending on the severity of it, such as the severe ones would be the crinkle heart and the cancer multiple times and the dying from this or that or the other, you know, whatever things she read that week. Lately, she's been going on about, we gotta save them kids, even though she didn't save her own fucking kids. Acting like she gives a single shit about children now, even though she allowed her husband, to, fucking football punt one of them. Constantly treated them like absolute shit. We saw the footage of the way that old place in, Colorado? Wherever they were out west, how it looked when they left. They tried to claim that whoever went in there, made it a mess, and as we saw from the footage, that person simply just walked in and filmed. They didn't really touch much. From what we can see, their living conditions are only marginally better, probably because they have another person in the house telling them to keep it that way, or they're gonna get kicked out. If given, free reign, it'd probably be the same shit. Probably be the exact same shit. Dirty ass, nasty ass people. Moving on. Next is Cobes. Now, Cobes, I used to kind of feel bad for, until he continued to open his mouth. The least egregious thing that he has done is not tip. The least egregious thing. Then there's all the qualifiers he has to put on as far as people who he finds himself attractive to. I don't understand why cisgender has to be in there, unless he's some kind of bigot. I mean, not every male to female transgender individual still has a penis. It's not, some get the bottom surgery. It's, there's a lot of nuance in some of these things. The of age really kind of is a little concerning, because, that's assumed unless otherwise presented. We kind of assume most people would go after people old enough to consent to a relationship. We kind of assume that. So if milady doth protest too much, it makes me kind of wonder what your fucking browser history looks like. And considering how fucking stupid he is, chances are if he's doing anything of that sort on the internet, he's not using any sort of VPN or anything, so he's probably on a list. But, you've seen this person kind of fall apart in real time, and you can say this, that, and the other about, autistic folks, but I've known a lot of autistic folks that are very self-aware. Incredibly self-aware, to a detrimental degree kind of self-aware. And this is just a fucking idiot. This is just a fucking idiot that happens to have autism. Just the dipshittery. The absolute dipshittery. There's just, and then on top of it, dude, you got a full skullet going on. You just look more and more like your classic living under a bridge fucking drunk. Day by day. Day by fucking day. Next up is Wern. Wern is a concerning individual. He makes me think that one of these days he's going to end up on the news for either pew-pewing a whole shopping mall, or murdering a underage girlfriend, or becoming involved with somebody underage, just in general. He's going to be on the news one of these days. From what I have seen recently in our coverage of Wern, it seems that this motherfucker needs to be heavily medicated. Also needs a goddamn reality check, has some serious kind of Dunning-Kruger-ass shit going on. It seems like he kind of thinks of himself as being the shit, or the, good partner or ultimate catch or anything like that, and then he's just opens his mouth and removes all doubt that he is absolutely not. In fact, that he's probably a little fucking dangerous to be around if you are an individual of the gender of which he is attracted to. And on top of it, he kind of looks like a pedophile. The kind of person that you would expect to be a pedophile, just without that mustache, Just kind of, you expect him to be, real greasy and sweaty, breathing heavy at a children's playground sort of shit. He looks like that, and that's on genetics. I don't know what to fucking say. Then we got G-Man. I know we haven't really covered G-Man much recently because he's boring as fuck, but this man has had a very long YouTube career of being loud and wrong and dumb. And, just go to therapy. It's okay to be gay, Gary. It's alright to be bisexual. You can like dudes too. I like ding-dongs too. I don't even know what I can say to really talk shit about this individual that hasn't already been said, or just is presented every time he opens his mouth. Just a long-term, chronic case of fucking stupid. Next we got Vaughn. Vaughn is like some sort of like megalomaniac. Like he thinks... I would look at him and say schizotypal personality disorder if I was going to pathologize somebody. Like, he thinks fanciful things about himself. Like, he's got some sort of powers, and he's got these gods that are looking out for him, and it's, you know, for what it really looks like to me, these gods are not. As I have said on stream before, if he does have gods that are looking out for him, it is Loki, and Loki don't like his ass. It's just, you know, he lost his kids a bajillion times. He keeps killing dogs through neglect. He's just a disgusting, messy person. And he's aged like absolute shit. Again, an individual who looks older than my mother, who is an alcoholic, and is like almost a full 10 years younger, I think. Like, just, it's kinda sad if you just look at the guy, but if you listen to what comes out of his mouth, you don't feel bad for him anymore. Next is Emo. And I like to playfully tease about Mainers being shitty and backwards and fucking have a dumb accent and all kinds of stuff, but that's just, you know, that's the interstate love in the Northeast. We show love by being pieces of shit to one another. Like, if somebody else were to say something bad about Maine who aren't from New England, you know, we'll tell you to fuck off. But we're allowed to talk shit about Maine. You know, at least they're not New Hampshire. New Hampshire is the Florida of New England, but I digress. Emo is, his anger reactions are funny. The fact that he thinks he can drop homophobic slurs just because he's gay is, one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard in my life, and I've heard some dumb shit. It's just, he comes on, he complains about things that are directly his fault. Like losing a channel or losing monetization or not having an audience or whatever. All of it is his fault. All of it is his fault for being completely just emotionally dumb. Like, he has no emotional regulation. It's 0 to 100 in like Mach 4. It's just, he has no in between. And I'd feel bad for the individual who is living with him, who I assume is his partner. But from my understanding, his partner's not terribly that much better, so I don't feel that bad. Next we got Perry. I kind of feel a little bad for Perry, but only a little. I mean, he's kind of dumb. He's kind of dumb. And I feel like he's got a little bit of an ego that's unwarranted. But he's kind of one of the less egregious individuals that we typically deal with. I would have once said that Cobes was, but that was back in the wanker scab days. Now we're at absolutely, completely fucking shit-faced making cocktail shrimp, or like faux cocktail sauce, and just eating the shrimp. I think I've only been that drunk a couple of times in my life, and wow. Just fucking wow. Just watching somebody completely fall apart. But I was talking about Perry. Like, I feel a little bit bad. Only a little bit, though. And I think maybe it's because I don't have as much context as to, what this whole individual's deal is about. I only ever see him getting absolutely tormented by people on a regular basis. So perhaps my idea of what this person is like is a little bit clouded by that. But, otherwise, there's a reason why we cover him, so, I trust the guy's judgment. And last but not least, we have Cyrax. What can I say about Cyrax? He's gross. As an individual, he's just gross. His personality's gross. How he looks is gross. His habits on the internet is fucking gross. Especially when it comes to underage individuals. Pretty fucking gross. Like, altogether, gross. And, comes on and, tries to do, rap battle type shit. Tries to come on and talk shit to other people. Meanwhile, the whole glass houses thing. Yeah. Why are we throwing stones, my guy?
That's me. That's right. That's me. That's right. That's me. Damn right.
Well, since I didn't have that much time to talk shit, or at least that much to talk shit about, I'm pretty clear and concise with the way I speak when I'm doing shit like this. We're gonna do some online quizzes from a place called Clickhole. It's called Clickhole. We're gonna do that. Yep, still stuck in my head. Imagine that. Alright, how well do you know the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner? It's the most favorite patriotic anthem of all time, sung before every sporting event, played in the old US of A. If you're an American, you've heard it thousands of times, but how well do you actually know the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner? Alright, let's see. What do we got? Oh, say, can you bleed by the car that runs on blood? Oh, say, are you gay by the light of the homosexual moon? Oh, say, will you take this horse bride to be your lawfully wedded wife by the powers vested in me by the state of Oklahoma? Oh, say, something embarrassing about your penis by the courtroom microphone. We're gonna go with that one. What so at blank? What so the toilet is on the ceiling at the world's only bathroom? What so many man-sized slugs at Slugfest 2024? What so proudly we kiss our horsewife at Oklahoma City's only horse-inclusive chapel? What so your penis turns blue at 6 p.m. sharp? I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of penis jokes for me. Whose broad stripes and blank through the perilous blank? Whose broad stripes and bright piss through the perilous Chris? I really like that. Whose broad stripes and huge stars are somehow bigger than the flag through the perilous public flag critique? Whose broad stripes and large teeth through the perilous Oklahoma loopholes that say if you marry a horse first, it's not bestiality? I wonder if that's actually a thing. I might have to look at that. Whose broad stripes and other shit through the perilous stuff? Bright piss and Chris. I thought that was the funniest one for me. Or the blank we watch were so gallantly blank. Or the Coach Season 4 DVD box sets, lacking bonus features, sports. Countless dark web horse love films convincing that this was okay. Low-res 6-second clips of the Lincoln Memorial coming to life and eating a tourist removed by YouTube. I like that one. We're gonna go with that one. And the red glare, the president's red glare, the fat guys bursting in air. Very hot calculators, pelicans throw pouches. What? Horse vaginas? Horse condoms? Oh no! Oh, that's fucked up! I'm doing that one. Gave proof through the blank that our flag was still blank. Opening credits to The Sopranos. Flag was still wet. I don't like that. Spencer's Gifts dressing room. A pair of blood-soaked shorts. Illegal Underground Horse Chapel. An image of a horse riding a man. Entire cave. A napkin with a smiling airplane drawn on a marker. I kind of like the wet one. Say, does that Star-Spangled Banner yet honk? Honk, honk, I'm goose. A holler. Act as a makeshift blanket for birthing a half-horse, half-human hybrid. Drazzle. Say, does that Star-Spangled Banner yet drazzle? I don't know what that means. We're going with that. Or the land of the blank and the home of the blank. Land of the malls. Hand of the white guys. You know what? That one's just true. What do we got? Hey, not so bad. You remember the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner pretty well. Could be better, of course. If you plan on singing the anthem before a sporting event or a funeral anytime soon, you might want to brush up on it a little more, but you've got a good start. 5 out of 8. Malls and white guys, homes and land. Land of the homes and the home of the land. That's funny. Drazzle was right. Spencer's Gifts dressing room. Horse vagina and horse condoms. I just picked that because it was fucked. Bright piss and Chris. Alright. Next. How many of these incredible WWE moments do you remember? The WWE has brought us countless high-flying, bone-crushing moments over the years, but only the most devoted wrestling buffs will remember them all. Think you're the ultimate fan? Take this quiz to prove it. Fuck off with your shit. Check off these classic WWE moments you remember. When Hulk Hogan accidentally zipped his mustache into his boots and had to frog waddle around the ring with his face stuck to his feet for the entirety of his tag team match at SummerSlam 88. When Bret the Hitman Hart put his sunglasses on an 8-year-old fan and the child instantly aged into an old man. Look at that one. When Andre the Giant tripped into the stands and crushed 8 lucky fans to death, we'll do that. When Sergeant Slaughter was justly tried and hanged by a U.S. military tribunal for violating the Stolen Valor Act, taking that one. Oh, when Vince McMahon turned the WWE into a family affair, at the time it would have been WWF, what we're talking about, Dink and Doink. When bringing his adult children Doink the Clown and Dink the Clown into the fold as on-air talent. One of my favorite things in the world as far as wrestling promos go is hearing Macho Man Randy Savage just say Doink, because it was always like, Doink! Doink! Oh, Jesus Christ. When Harriet Tubman was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, no one really understood why, but the gesture was nonetheless appreciated. When Jim Ross accidentally left his mic on during a bathroom break and treated fans to rooting play-by-play as he passed a kidney stone. When Shawn Michaels accidentally kicked 11 birds in a row while futilely attempting to do his sweet chin music finisher on Razor Ramon on SummerSlam 95. And Big Show and the fabulous Moolah squared off in the ring to determine once and for all which gender is stronger. Wasn't Fabulous Moolah like a piece of shit? Like, I don't know. There was like a whole thing about that. The Raw episode when no one was mad enough to fight each other, so the wrestlers took turns shampooing each other's hair in the ring. The legendary Hell in the Cell match between Undertaker and Mankind, where CTE was invented. When Brock Lesnar's head briefly got swallowed by his shoulder muscles, and paramedics had to pry it out with crowbars so he didn't suffocate to death on his own brawn. Brocky Moon! Yes. When a wasp scared everyone out of the ring and was named the winner. When Paul Bearer revealed that his trademark urn was full of Rolaids. I like that. If you don't know what Rolaids are, it's like Tom's. When then President Barack Obama delivered an address on Monday Night Raw announcing that SEAL Team 6 had succeeded in killing the Iron Sheik after years of terrorizing American wrestlers, bringing closer to one of the most painful chapters in U.S. history. Fuck the Monday! The incredibly gory and tragic episode of SmackDown that led to swords being unilaterally banned in the WWE. I like that. When an aging Hulk Hogan started doing his famous I can't hear you gesture, but in earnest, and it bummed everyone out. Oh, man. When the 14-year-old... the 14-hour episode of SmackDown that Terrence Malick directed, which wasn't bad per se, but certainly wasn't something you'd want to watch more than once. The legendary character wrestler Mick Foley ditched his popular Mankind persona and reinvented himself as John Cena! Alright. The first couple of years after they started leaving steel chairs at ringside, when all the wrestlers just thought they were supposed to sit on them. That's funny. Oh, no! When Undertaker did his whole walk on the top rope bit for 2 hours straight to distract the audience while the stagehands cleaned up after Owen Hart's fall. Fuck. The time when one of the fake punches actually connected and both wrestlers immediately started crying. I like that. When WWE fans angrily demanded answers as to how wrestlers can wear those skin-tight spandex undies yet not have the outline of their genitals explicitly visible, and Vince McMahon just calmly explained that it's because most of the wrestlers are eunuchs. When Gene Okerlund's nipple rings... Gene Okerlund had nipple rings? When Gene Okerlund's nipple rings were clearly visible beneath his dress shirt, and everyone sort of just silently agreed not to acknowledge it. When The Phantom Menace came out and there was that Star Wars crossover episode of Raw. Oh, goodness, I'm still waking up. It's noon and I'm still waking up. That's some shit. Where all the wrestlers just took turns doing their power moves on Yoda. When the immense popularity of Stone Cold Steve Austin inspired the American populace to give them denim trousers or blue jeans a try. When Hulk Hogan, secretly backed by Silicon Valley billionaire Peter Thiel, won a $140 million judgment against Gawker and forced the website into bankruptcy, setting a dangerous legal precedent that imperils the free press and provides a court-sanctioned blueprint for dismantling First Amendment right protections. That was a thing that actually happened. I don't know about this part, but the Gawker, that was when he was talking about being a fat pig and eating too much sushi and the N-word. When most of the guys died. I like that one too. The results! You are the ultimate wrestling fan! Seriously, is that you, Vince? You really, really know your stuff. It's clear that you've spent a lot of time over the years watching large, oily men muscle men hitting and yelling at each other, and for that you should be proud. Good work. Yeah, I started watching WWE when I was a youngin' because my cousin was into it. SmackDown used to be on network TV. Alright, what's next? How many of these Dragon Ball Z episodes have you seen? What? It broke. How dare. Next. Can you teach Big Bird to act appropriately in court during his upcoming murder trial? Let's see if we can do that. Big Bird is in some kind of huge chicken who might have recently killed a person. He has to appear in court next week to stand trial for murder. Unfortunately, Big Bird has no idea how you're supposed to behave in court, and if left to his own devices, he will cause lots of problems for himself. He needs some coaching. Can you teach Big Bird to act appropriately during his upcoming murder trial? Take this quiz to find out. Right off the bat, it's important to know that Big Bird is accused of killing an ambassador from the French consulate in New York City. The man was discovered disemboweled, and a huge pile of big yellow feathers was found next to the body, along with the words "Bag Bird" written in blood. How would you advise Big Bird to explain away this evidence? Alright. Sounds like we got a killer named Bag Bird on the loose. I tell Big Bird to tell the police to look for Bag Bird. I would instruct Big Bird to tell the jury that the feathers are his, but he found the French ambassador after he was already dead and tried to bring him back to life by dumping a pile of feathers on him. Lots of people shed big piles of yellow feathers when they're killing people. They could come from anyone. I'd tell Big Bird just to ignore it. Sounds like we got a killer named Bag Bird on the loose. One thing that's important to know about Big Bird is that he's obsessed with teaching lessons. This makes him a good fit on Sesame Street, but when he's not on Sesame Street, he carries around a trash bag filled with large assortments of spiders, cockroaches, and other insects who he refers to as his students. Periodically, Big Bird will open up the trash bag filled with bugs and shout educational things into it like, "The letter J is coming to kill me," or "French is just Spanish spoken in a deeper voice." If he pulls this shit in front of a jury, it's not going to win him any goodwill. How would you discourage this behavior? I would tell Big Bird that the bugs and spiders in his trash bag already know everything and are professors at Harvard, so there's no need to continue teaching them stuff. I would donate the bag of bugs and spiders to Syria and tell Big Bird that his students joined ISIS. I would drop a calculator in the trash bag and tell Big Bird that the bugs and spiders are learning math from the calculator, so his services are no longer necessary. I'd actually let Big Bird keep yelling lessons at the bugs. Maybe a few jury members would also like to carry around a big bag of insects and teach them things, and they'll find Big Bird more relatable. I would say that they joined ISIS. That's funny as fuck. Fucking ads. Get out of here. Get out of here! According to Big Bird, his alibi for where he was at the time of the murder was that he was looking at Elmo. Elmo cannot confirm whether or not this is true, because he says that on the night of the murder, he was in an unconscious trance-like state brought on by the music of Frank Zappa, so Elmo has no memories of what happened that night. Yeah, it happens. It happens when you listen to Frank Zappa sometimes. Especially Punky. How would you suggest Big Bird alter his alibi? I would urge Big Bird to include more specific details in his alibi, such as where he was looking at Elmo and what Elmo was doing while Big Bird looked at him. I would urge Big Bird to include more specific details in his alibi, such as whether or not he was looking at Elmo in the dark or looking at Elmo from far away. I would tell Big Bird to change his alibi from looking at Elmo to staring at Elmo. And I would tell Big Bird that an alibi he says is fine as long as he whispers it. I would say it's staring at Elmo. When Big Bird is in a large group of people, such as a courtroom, he likes to perform what he calls his special trick. To perform his special trick, Big Bird lays an egg on the floor and sits on it for about 15 minutes. Then the egg hatches and a human arm crawls out. Big Bird picks up the human arm and uses it to slap people in the face. Big Bird's special trick is disgusting and violent, and he should not do it in court. How would you discourage Big Bird from doing his special trick during his murder trial? I would have Big Bird sterilized by a veterinarian or car mechanic in order to make sure he can't lay eggs in court. I would tell Big Bird that everyone in the courtroom has already seen Gordon Ramsay do a similar trick on an episode of MasterChef, so if he does it, nobody will be impressed. I would tell Big Bird he can make money if he sells his eggs on Craigslist, and he's just wasting them by doing his special trick for free. Big Bird's special trick actually sounds really impressive. I would let him go for it. Maybe it'll make the jury stand up and cheer. Sell that shit on Craigslist. Make a buck. What are you doing? You live on fucking Sesame Street, man. One of Big Bird's most serious problems is that he can't tell the difference between himself and other birds. If he sees a regular-sized bird, like a pigeon or something, he points at it and says, "That's me. There I am." And then he will try to eat the smaller bird while mumbling, "It's me. I have to eat him." It's deeply unnerving to witness, and if some bird flew past the window of the courtroom during his murder trial, he would definitely alienate the jury with his bizarre behavior. What steps would you take to ensure this doesn't happen? I would stand outside the courtroom with a tennis racket to swat away any birds that get close to Big Bird. I would explain to Big Bird that he is the only Big Bird, and I would prove this by eating a family-sized bucket of KFC in front of him and showing him how when I eat the chicken, nothing bad happens to it because he is not other birds. If a bird gets into the courtroom, I will put a name tag on it that says, "Hello, my name is Reggie," so that when Big Bird sees the regular-sized bird, he'll say, "I thought that bird was me, but it's Reggie." Big Bird is right, those birds are Big Bird. Every bird is Big Bird. All birds. Just a heads up, every so often Big Bird's eyes will roll back into his head and he'll scream, "Today's lesson was brought to you by the number 8, and then a 50-foot-tall marble statue of the number 8 will emerge from the ground, destroying everything in its path. There's no way to stop this from happening. I'll make note of that. Okay, one last thing. Cookie Monster recently told Big Bird about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, and now Big Bird is very afraid of hammers. When the judge bangs the gavel, Big Bird is probably going to shoot ink out of his ink sac directly into the judge's face as an unconscious defense mechanism. How would you prepare Big Bird so that he's not afraid of the gavel sound? I would make him wear earmuffs so he can't hear it. I would tell Big Bird that Cookie Monster was lying and that the Romans never crucified Jesus. I would tell him Jesus passed away at the age of 63 because he accidentally inhaled his own beard in his sleep and suffocated. I would give Big Bird immersion therapy by showing him pictures of hammers for 12 continuous hours prior to his appearance in court. Look, it's entirely possible that the judge is going to use his gavel to crucify Big Bird. He has every right to be afraid. What do we get? Yikes, according to this quiz, you are woefully underprepared to coach Big Bird on how to act appropriately in court during his upcoming murder trial. Big Bird is going to be behaving in his normal, bizarre, and off-putting way. It's going to turn the jury against him. He's going to be found guilty for sure, and he might get the death penalty. You blew it in regards to Big Bird. Whatever, he's a, I don't know, a domestic terrorist or something. Whoa, slow down there, buddy. Nobody dates my daughter without telling me which Sailor Moon character they are first. Hey now, slow your roll there, Chief. I don't know what you think this is, but there's no way in hell that you're dating my little angel until you tell me which Sailor Moon character you are first. Now go ahead and get comfortable so we can start the quiz. Hey, this one's broken too. Cool, love it. What did you think of my homemade mead? Be honest. I'm working on a new mead recipe, and I'm in need of some good feedback. Honestly, what do you think of my homemade mead? Don't hold back, I can take it. Is this one broken too? Clickhole, what the fuck? Yeah, let me try refreshing that page. We'll see if that fixes it. Nope, broken. That's cool. This one broken? No. Okay. Can you convince Gandalf to start paying child support for his son who lives in Florida? Gandalf the Grey is a powerful wizard with many great feats, but he has not yet risen to the responsibilities of fatherhood as legally specified by the state of Florida. He's known as a powerful and righteous sorcerer in lands afar. However, in the Miami-Dade area, Gandalf is simply viewed as a deadbeat dad who refuses to even pay child support for his son. Can you convince him to start paying up? Gandalf pays for everything with acorns and bones, because in Middle-earth everyone is afraid he'll use his powerful magic on them if they point out that acorns and bones have no value. How will you introduce him to US currency so he can pay for his child support with something his single mother X can use? Take 5 bones, 3 acorns from him, and hand him a $20 bill to establish an exchange rate. I will ask for his spell book and then present him with some cash and tell him I'm a wizard now because I have your spell book. Now that you're not a wizard, you'll have to pay for things with these dollar bills instead of acorns and bones, you deadbeat. Or I will say, Gandalf, dollars are the bones of Florida, and then ask him for a blow-by-blow replay of the Battle of Helm's Deep. We'll do an exchange rate. What tips will you give Gandalf about explaining why he hasn't paid child support yet to the court? I will tell him to bring a copy of The Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray and then present it to the judge and say, "This is what I've been doing, pal, comprende?" I will tell him that he can't call his ex-wife an envoy of Sauron again, and as even in Florida, we know that this term is just as bad as bitch, and that he should be ashamed of himself that it even occurred to him. I will tell him to call upon a great eagle to fling the opposing counsel into the sky, or if his magic doesn't work in Florida, then to just give them a roundhouse kick to the chest. He should be ashamed of himself. One thing you should know about Gandalf in this situation is that he has dozens of children with hobbits back in Middle-earth, and he simply sends those who ask anything of him to Mordor. How will you convince him not to send his Floridian son to Mordor? I'll tell him that Florida is the Mordor of the world. I'm sure we'll have a good laugh after that joke, and he'll be in a good enough mood to not damn his son to a hellish existence. I will bring him to one of his son's tennis games to show him that he's already being punished enough. I'll follow that up by telling Gandalf that, tragically, sons without fathers are 400% more likely to play tennis. I would tell Gandalf that he's the one who faced down Nazgul at Weathertop, so who am I to say whether his son should or should not be thrown into the fires of Mount Doom? Florida is the Mordor of this world, so. Gandalf will try to pawn off his responsibility on the nearest short person he can find as soon as you confront him, because in Middle-earth he dumps all his problems on hobbits, who just sort of take it. Which short person who wouldn't put up with Gandalf shit will you make sure to have around? I have my 5'1" friend Louise, who is a single mom herself, close by, and will ravage the wizard by unleashing the emotions she has cooped up from a lifetime of toil. I would dress the trash can up as a hobbit, then hide inside. When Gandalf walks by, I will move the lid off the can so it looks like a hobbit is talking, and shame him for all the times he saddled hobbits with his bastard children just because he was too lazy to put a condom on. Or Danny DeVito. I'm gonna just sound him Danny DeVito. So I started blasting. When Gandalf cries, orcs can smell his tears and will quickly be upon you, inciting an epic battle of good and evil that could last centuries, which will only give him another excuse to not pay child support. How will you prevent him from weeping when you explain what he needs to do? I'll keep saying things like, "Wow, that's the best staff I've ever seen. Is that a new staff?" I want him to weep. The orcs will take care of this better than me. I'll blindfold him so he'll think he's going to a surprise party after this tough conversation. Once I got thinking about birthday parties and how fun they are, I actually might forget about the child care thing and throw Gandalf a party for his 2021st birthday. No, I want him to weep. The orcs will take care of this. The orcs will take care of it. Gandalf will eventually break down and tell you that the only reason he hasn't paid yet is because he still wants to get back with his ex, since no one in Middle-earth finds wizards sexy. What will you say in response to this revelation? I will tell Gandalf that the best way to a woman's heart is to pay the child support to the son you had with her 25 years ago before literally vanishing without a trace by using an enchanted teleportation stone. I will tell him that no one has ever found him sexy and he should resign himself to a fate of a lonely penance with the only occasional pity hand job from an ent. And I will slam a six-pack of Blue Moon Winter Abbey ale on the table and say, "Gandalf, forget women. How about you teach me how to shoot fireball out of my hands?" You know what? Sad tree hand job sounds great. Oh no, you convinced Gandalf to commit
Mistrial.
Gandalf wasn't perfect, but he saved the realm a time or two. He just doesn't understand the complicated mythology of Florida, and your aggressive badgering didn't help. You should feel ashamed of yourself. No, I don't. He was deadbeat dead. Fuck him. And the last one. Tell. So, which? This. This? Not this. This. How as now. Always. Today. Not this. Maybe. Always. Please match, but with best only you are if could would can. Question mark pizza. True? False. True. Yes. Will for me right away. Only this unless another around good. Would nice could it. Never now, nothing until not. Yes, when never, but no for always. Plus not for next later even. Could something for until myself, without outside me, inside me never. We'll do that one. That sounds kind of existential. Honest please? Please yes. Not. Very aren't. Eggplant emoji. I will take Pikachu. Always. Frowny face. Click. What do we get? Come on. Give me the thing. I clicked it. Click all, fix your shit. Did I not click something? Is that it? Pizza. Try now. Could. If now, could. Sometimes yes, sometimes always. Always sometimes. But maybe today. Later then we'll be there too. Keep now and sometimes are. Alright, well I guess that's it. Goodbye.